Hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, not Monday, the second day of November 2023. I'm having a very difficult time getting together this morning and getting going, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, today's oracle card from the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck is the Muse, and it means inspiration. We all remember the 9 muses from Greek mythology, or maybe not, but maybe you do. And they would go around and they would inspire artists to do their best work. Well, I think what the authors, though, of this deck are suggesting that the muse should be within us all of the time. That spirit should flow through us all of the time, and that's we. In other words, we stay in that divine inspired state. So instead of waiting to be inspired today, realize that you are that inspiration, and it's your natural state of being, of the soul flowing through you in this physical reality, and seeing everything through the eyes of spirit. Seeing everything as beautiful, and finding even the beauty within struggle. So finding the inspiration there. So. Anyhow, today, consider that when you're feeling a little like you're not really, you're bored, or you're not really inspired by anything. Realize that's going to come from you and not from something outside of you. So let's set that there. And I have the runes already for today, the significator runes. For those of you who haven't been here before, if this is your first time here, welcome. I start out typically not with an oracle card, but I bought that deck and I just thought it was cool. So anyway, I just wanted to share it with everybody. I thought it'd be fun to do. But normally I start out with drawing a rune from the Elder Futhark, from that bag and my rune bag, and it looks like this. And I drew Hagalaz today, and then I drew Vaya for the Geomancy rune. Now, how I view these is the Elder Futhark runes would be the above side of things, or the soul side, higher awareness side of things. Just very similar to the soul archetype nature of the major arcana. And then the Geomancy rune would reflect the ego, or the physical side of life. And with Hagalaz being one of the 3 Norn runes, this is the Norn rune of the past. It's essentially destruction within a fixed framework, sort of transforming or transmuting perceptions oftentimes, so that we see things differently. You're not doing away with all your values and your principles and your spiritual beliefs or anything like this, but maybe it's just how you see something that needs to be changed up a little bit. So you see, it means it's similar to hail. Hail comes in and destroys things sometimes, or maybe not. But we had golf ball size hail one year, and we never have that here. That was back in the 90s, and I mean it destroyed a lot of stuff. But then when it's all is said and done and it's melted, the water from the ice nourishes the ground, right? And so whatever change that you make with the Hagalaz energy is meant to nourish you and support you and put you into a better space. And so, and basically create a different outcome than maybe you normally have. So think about Hagalaz that way today. And then on the lower side of things, with on the below side of things, we have Vaya. And Vaya is an active presence. Its complement is populace, which is a passive influence. That would be more someone who is following along more so than setting out and setting the course themselves. This is about independence, and this is about setting your own path, not necessarily waiting for one to unfold and then going, oh, I think I'll go that way. Well, no, this comes directly out of whatever you've done to transform your experience today. And again, typically it has to do with perception. Now I've already shuffled quite a bit here. And I'm going to turn that back over because they're upside down. And I'll take I'll cut the deck, and we'll take the last part of the deck, the last half of the deck, and we'll take the cards from there. I'll do 3. Okay, nothing from the court, all minor arcana cards, No major arcana cards here today. And we have 3 suits represented. We have wands, we have cups and swords. So we have fire, water, and air. Let's see how I want to read these. We've got 2 sevens. That's kind of cool. There's a pattern. Hagalaz, the numerology for the rune Hagalaz, it's a 9th rune, so you're looking at a 9 numerology of endings and completion. I don't have a pen that works here. I can't find one. So I'm going to use my calculator. So that's 9 plus 6 for the 6 of wands, plus 7 of the 7 of cups, and 7. That's 29. So that reduces to 11. Okay, so we have a master number here for the overall numerology of the whole reading. And that would be 11, which is the master number for awakening and illumination and enlightenment. So again, if you're having to take a different approach to something today with Hagalaz as the rune for higher awareness here, obviously it's something that's then going to open doors for you. So an example might be if you had, if you were going to apply for a job, maybe how you normally interview, you've never been comfortable with. So you're going to change that up a little bit. Maybe think about that before you go. And in doing so, you may impress the person interviewing you so much that you get hired on the spot. And right then see a new doors are opening for you at that point. And so it's taking a look at going within and taking a look at how do I normally do something, and is that really working for me? And if it's not, then consider some other things, and maybe the cards will help you with some ideas there. And so here, again, under the guise of awakening and enlightenment, with the 11 overall numerology here, we have the 6 of wands. Now, here we have a guy who's either the lord of the manor, it might be the king, it might be a prince, I don't know, but it's somebody of means. He's riding a horse who's looking at us in quite a kind of adorable way there. But you see this green drape all over the horse, this blanket. And then you see the orangish red on his bridle, and then you see this kind of a sash that looks like it's probably coming off. Well, it might be covering the reins, actually. I'll bet it's covering the reins. That's what that's doing. And then you have, but the primary color is green. So clearly there was success in terms of material security here. Either he made an agreement at a meeting with maybe another village or another kingdom or something like that if this is the king. But he's victorious because he's wearing a wreath of victory around his head. And you also see one here that's tied to his staff. You see other people, and they kind of look like they're wearing interesting hats, and so maybe it's a celebration, excuse me, of some kind where they're celebrating whatever it is he's coming back from. So maybe there was a victory in battle. You don't see that for sure. But again, it could have something to do with material security with that green drape there, that he's gone and he's done something, he's negotiated something, he's been successful. So again, I mean, if you're looking for a job and you're going to go interview places, I mean, this could be that you have a lot of support behind you for what it is you're doing. You might be engaging in something here that's maybe you're already it's the same job you're working at, but maybe you're trying to get into a different position, maybe supervisory, managerial, that kind of thing. But you have a lot of support around you, and it looks like you're going to be victorious. It's suggesting some victory here for you today. Maybe you've consulted other people before going and into the interview. Maybe you've gotten some guidance from somebody who's a type of counselor that counsels people that are looking for new jobs, and they've given you some help with how to interview better. Maybe you've looked in some you've researched in some books that people have written on the subject. There's lots of those out there. But somehow or another, there's a feeling of support with the Six of Wands. But Wands is about being the fire element. It's about new opportunities, about creative expression, spark of life, all of that. But oftentimes when you see them in a reading, it's talking about a new opportunity. Now, then we go to the Seven of Cups. Here you have a man in silhouette, an individual in silhouette, and you see 7 cups. You see lots of things in them. You see a wreath here also, some victory. You see some, looks like some jewels here. Here you have a castle on a hill. Here you have, which may be a griffon, I'm not sure. But it looks like a dragon of some kind. Here you have a woman. So maybe he's dreaming about a new love. Here you have what looks to me like Napoleon's hat, but I don't know. I have no idea other than that what that is, and I've never seen anything written that says anything that even makes any sense to me. So I view this as maybe authority. And then here you have a snake, which is about transformation. And it's interesting that it's transforming into the authority, right? If you want to look at that as Napoleon's helmet. But the little, well, anyway. So anyhow, but what he's doing is I used to look at this as dreaming new dreams. How do you make an opportunity if you're not willing to explore ideas that are even fanciful, right? But 7 is a number about balance, and it could be that the dreams that this man is having have just maybe been a little unrealistic. There could be that. But then on the other hand, are they? We don't know that. And so I think if you don't allow yourself to dream, and I realize this is not the most traditional interpretation of this card. It's get your head out of the clouds. It's don't be unrealistic, don't waste your time on stuff that's not going to happen. But I just don't buy that, I think that it's very, very possible that the things you daydream about maybe can't happen today, but it doesn't mean that doesn't represent a placeholder in your memory where later on circumstances may be just perfect where they can. And so you don't ever want to give up on your dreams. You just don't. You just want to balance them with some realism at this time. And so whatever's happened here, clearly there was some dreams that took place. In fact, we could have started with this card really. And then he goes to let's do that. Let's start with the guy's dreaming new dreams. He's got all these ideas of what he'd like to see happen. And so then he goes to this event or meeting or whatever it is, and he comes back and he's victorious. And he's opening the door, the via, opening a new path to something that's much better, likely for himself and his kingdom. Or in this case, maybe it could mean yourself and your family. That could open doors to something more lucrative, in other words, new opportunities that are more lucrative, that might involve, more money or more wealth. It might involve some transformation. It might involve some authority. It could involve a new home. And you would be victorious and successful. I think the fact that we see the wreath in both cards indicates there's a connection here between the dreams that you have and then what you're able to accomplish and be successful at. Now, the other 7 in the reading is the 7 of Swords. Swords is the intellect, it's communication, it's balance, it's reason, it's justice, it's deception. Now, you've got a little bit of deception here. If you look at I'm an author, so my instant response to this is theft of intellectual property. Well, okay, we have an interesting scenario here. He's now on this side of this dual line, okay? So there's a separation from what's going on behind him and what he's doing here. Now, here you have if you're a Game of Thrones fan like I am, this reminds me of when they go and they set up the king or whoever. They're going and they're going to set up. They're gonna attack a village or attack another kingdom or what have you, and you see the tents that are up, and then over here you see the tents here. You see some of the men here, the soldiers that are right over here, either coming back or from a battle, or maybe they're discussing battle plans or something. Now this guy could have been somebody who was from the neighboring town or the neighboring village or the neighboring kingdom, and he's come in here, and perhaps he has served the king. All right, maybe he was serving them food or whatever, but he's actually a spy. All right, and we can look at the swords as the battle plans. All right, perhaps where they're who it is they're going to attack, the king and his men are going to attack. Perhaps they don't have the wherewithal to really defend themselves against this armed force, and so the only way that they're going to be able to get ahead of the game and have any chance at all of defending themselves is to level the playing field by sending somebody in and then, when no one's looking, come back out and steal the battle plans and level the playing field. That's another thing with the 7. That's another thing with the 7, where it's about observation. It's about the scales and letting the pans of the scales settle out and observing the process before you make a decision. So what this guy was able to do is he was able to go in. In fact, we could probably put that, we could go 7, 7, and 6. And if we did, here's his wishes and desires. Here he goes and maybe learns a little bit a different strategy, takes a different strategy, which would resemble Hagalaz, okay, where he's going to tweak things. He's going to get a little more information and empower himself or his friends in his town, whatever, to then be more ready for the attack, which is, of course, if you're interviewing for another job, then it's the interviewer. Okay, you have to be prepared for that person to ask questions that you might not see coming, and you certainly don't want to stumble over them. Right? You want to put your best foot forward, in other words. And so getting the strategy, learning a different strategy might be a way to interpret the 7 of swords. And then from there, once you've done all of that, and you've gone wherever it is you're going, in this case probably to some kind of a meeting. It reminds me, my instant hit off this card is when the lords and whatnot, they all went and signed the Magna Carta and made this agreement, right? And so he comes back victorious from whatever event or meeting or battle or whatever it is that he's done. He's come back victorious, and people are sharing it and supporting him in his victory. So I realize I keep coming back to the idea of another job offer or something, or an interview. So maybe that's in fact what this is about. But it doesn't have to be. You could be trying to do some things around your home, and you're trying to figure out a way to do that in a way that doesn't break the bank, so normally you would do it a specific way, and now you're thinking outside the box and thinking, well, maybe I can find another way. I can repurpose some things, I can do things differently and still achieve what I want to achieve. I'll do a little research, I'll go online, I'll go talk to some people who know more than I do about this, maybe get some advice down. If it's involving, building something, go down to the lumberyard and talk to them about it, and maybe they can give you some advice. But it's developing a different mindset, developing a different strategy in order to achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And I think, but I do think in this case, this is about a new opportunity that's coming your way, that you've been dreaming about, you've been planning for, and now you're ready to go. And perhaps when you do, it's going to be victorious and a new path opens for you. So I think maybe that's maybe what this is about. whenever I pull cards, whenever I do just a tarot reading, I don't necessarily leave them in the order that I draw them in. I'll move them around if it seems to make more sense. And I think that's what, happened here today. I like the idea of putting the sevens on either side of a card. When you've got two numbers that are the same, I like them on either side to have a sense of balance, a sense of either or maybe. But if we did that, then we could look at, here's dreaming and here's the actual planning and strategic aspect of it. So sort of wishing versus reality, or wishing versus, or fantasy versus realism. You can look at it that way. When you get more information, then you learn more things, and you discover that maybe there's a way to manifest your dreams, but it has to be based in a little more reality. Just some fundamental stuff going on. If you have a family, you can't necessarily quit your job before having another one, that sort of thing. If you have bills, even if you don't have a family, you have an apartment to pay for, or a house payment to make, or a car payment to make, you can't simply walk away from something before you have something else. And so that's part of that strategy. That's part of that Seven of Swords. But the dream is, I want something else, right? But to put it into play, you have to let things settle out. You have to be able to see what the truth of the moment is. And so I think that that's the relationship here between these two cards. But somehow or another, through the strategy, through the dreaming, you're able to transform your perceptions and what's possible in your life. And when you do that, then the new path opens, well, this way, not that way, this way, with the Six of Wands. So I think I did it. I'm just not entirely certain what this is all about for everybody watching. It could be a variety of different things, but again, it starts with using your imagination and daydreaming and wondering, and I say daydreaming because he's not lying down, he's just thinking about things. And again, they may not seem realistic at the moment, but the more you research, the more you do your due diligence, you may find that it is. And if not right this minute, maybe, a year from now, or 2 years from now, or what have you. And then from there, as you do your due diligence, you gain the support that you need. Could be financial support. It could be just support from friends and family. To then go forward and pursue that. And then the Six is suggesting you're going to be victorious in it. And with the wands, and the green drape on the horse, it just seems like there's some kind of material. There's a new opportunity that has like some material security involved in it as well. So that's why I just wonder, is it a new job? Is it a change in that for you? But again, it's don't let go of your dreams, balance them with rationality, and then move forward in with confidence that a new path can open for you. So I guess that's it. Well, I'm finishing up the posts for next week. I finished the forecast. That's done. I have to go over and edit it and stuff, but other than that, it's done. And the correspondences are also done for next week. If you work magic, you can look at that, and it's both the astrological stuff on the top, and then all of those, and then the lower part of it are just the regular correspondences, like little things like this, and crystal balls and hagstones, maybe or a nice lovely rose that's dried from my garden. Here's an egg. That's always fun. But, whatever things you use to shore up your magic and to bring additional energetic support to things, that's what you'll find below there in the daily correspondences. You'll find the resins you can use that are for a particular day, those crystals, the herbs, the elements, all of that. What are the corresponding energies for that particular day? And then I have not done the exploring tarot card for the week. I can't even remember now what it is. I think it's, well, I shouldn't say, but I have it. I have it out, and I took a picture of it, but I haven't written it up yet, so I have no idea what I did. It's been a really, really busy week, and like I said, I wasn't feeling all that well on Tuesday, but I'm doing better now. So anyway, but check those out when they come out. I post them. They come out on Sunday. The newsletter, which has all that in it and a little bit more, it comes out on Saturday. So if you want to sign up for that, you can go over to the blog. The web address there at Stepping Aside is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, click on more below the video. Scroll down, it's right there. And I have a different theme. I have the stuff on the right hand side now. So it's on the right hand side where you can sign up for the newsletter. Just kind of scroll down when you get to the blog, you'll see it. If you want to get that, and if you want that in your email, and I know there's just way too much email, isn't there? So if you don't want to do that, you can just go to the blog and look that stuff up each week. Otherwise, you get it in your inbox, so that's easy. But then you don't go to the blog and look around. It's a fun place, I think, anyway. But then I'm biased, so anyway, it's just a witch blog, so it's kind of fun if you're into that sort of thing. If you're not, it's just kind of fun to go look at it, I think. But anyway. So that's all that I think I have to share. I don't think we have anything coming up. We just had the full moon. We have maybe daylight savings time ends on Sunday. Last quarter moon starts on Sunday. Election day is the 7th on Tuesday. Veterans Day is the 10th. That's observed, and that's on Friday. And then Veterans Day is on the 11th. So that's what's going on next week on the calendar. So there you go. Anyhow, thanks for watching. And if you haven't clicked subscribe yet, I'd love you to do that and come back again on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.